Acedeck Stella S3 is one of those rare belt-driven longboards that's priced under $500. Before the Stella S3, the only other belt drive under $500 was the $449 WowGo 3E, which we considered the best entry-level electric skateboard. And now we are looking to see if this Acedeck Stella S3 is going to take its throne. And judging by the specs, it just might, as Acedeck really put some crazy stuff in it. Let's run through the specs as usual. Starting with the deck, the Acedeck Stella S3 is made of a Canadian maple and bamboo composite deck with a mild flex and an aggressive concave, which is great for foot placement. It has a simple and clean design, going with the gray color theme that's universal to most Acedeck lineups. Moving on to the ESC, Acedeck went with a tried and true Hobbywing ESC, which comes with 4 speed settings. For those who are not familiar with Hobbywing ESC, it is the most popular electronic speed controller that's proven to deliver perfectly smooth and intuitive speed control. It also has a smart turn-on feature, meaning the board powers on automatically when the remote is turned on. And here comes the biggest surprise, the battery. It's a 13S 2P battery. For a $500 board, having a 13S battery is above expectation and would give the board a lot of power. But going with 21700 cells with Samsung 40T too, we were super surprised, and we don't remember any other $500 having a battery setup as good as this. This battery pack is marketed to have a range of up to 22 miles or 35 kilometers, and in our tests, we managed to reach 17.4 miles or 28 kilometers with a 150-pound or 70-kilogram rider, riding fast, which is impressively way above the 10 miles or 18 kilometers we expected from a sub-$500 belt-driven e-skate. Next, let's talk motors. And Stella S3 has a huge pair. These are 6355 motors with a rating of 1500 watts each. And although motor wattage is never the full story, it still means something. The gear ratio is also quite high at 1 to 2.7, so it is a recipe that prioritizes torque over top speed. With that said, these motors are still marketed with a healthy top speed of 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers per hour, which is pretty standard for boards at this price. We managed to come in just under 28 miles per hour at 27.3 miles per hour or 44 kilometers per hour. For the trucks, Acedeck uses a standard casted 45-degree reverse kingpin truck with double barrel bushings of 100A and 96A, which looks like a combination built for stability in mind. As for the wheels, these are pretty standard 90mm wheels rated 76A. The board weighs about 20 pounds or 9.5 kilograms. As you can see, with this 13S 2P Samsung 40T battery and these motors, Stella S3 has to completely flop in the riding experience department to not be one of the best, if not the best e-skate under $500. So let's talk about how the board rides. Imagine WowGo 3E with a 10% tilt towards stability and a ton more torque. That's how I'd describe what the Acedeck Stella S3 feels like. And that amazing torque is definitely the highlight of the Stella S3. Many brands have since realized that. While power and top speed look good on the product page, torque is actually what makes the board fun. Tiny with its Tiny Mini 3 Pro and Meepo with its Vader and Voyager are all popular boards that went torque over power. The Stella S3 is one of those boards that rocket off from a standstill at the push of the throttle. You can definitely feel the 13S battery at work here. And it wields that torque well, which is not a surprise, as it is Hobbywing ESC after all. Acceleration is strong but smooth, speed controls are intuitive. What's notable is that the braking is equally strong, which we know not all boards with Hobbywing ESC can do. You can brake to a halt pretty quickly with this board. The skate parts come together to support the aggressiveness of the board too. First, the deck is on the stiffer side, and the pronounced concave helps keep our feet snug and secure. Then, the trucks are more stable than responsive too. Unfortunately, the trade-off here is that the Stella S3 is less responsive and less fun for carving if compared to the WowGo 3E with its flexible deck and responsive trucks. But I digress, these trucks add another layer to the stability. You know the board is stable when it feels slow to be riding at 28 miles per hour or 44 kilometers per hour. And on top of that, you don't notice the board got to top speed as it felt effortless both on your part and the board's part. One notable quote-unquote weakness of the board is the relatively strong road vibration, especially when put next to other belt drives with more flexible deck or bigger wheels. With that said, it is of course still way more comfortable on rough roads than any hub-driven board. If riding on rough roads is what you do often, consider swapping to bigger wheels. There are tons of good 105 and 120 millimeter in the market right now. We're accustomed to seeing no-name brands trying to break into the market by making a board with over-the-top specs for its price. Those boards usually have weaker build quality, and most of those brands didn't last long enough to support their customers. But I think that Acedeck has passed that stage as it made its name with the Nix lineup, stuck around long enough to prove that they take care of their customer and build their boards pretty well. So it is pretty amusing to me that they are still aggressively undercutting the competition with price. This is how we see Acedeck Stella S3 for $500. S-tier torque, S-tier battery, A-tier stability, B+ in responsiveness, and A in power and build quality. The Stella S3 would probably be still the best value buy if it was selling at $650. So if you were in the market for an entry to mid-tier electric skateboard, there is little reason to get anything else. It is quite literally the best electric skateboard under $500 we've ever reviewed. As always, if you are looking to buy Acedeck or actually any e-skate, be sure to use our affiliated discount code with the link below. It will help you get a small monetary discount and helps us out too. You'll also be tagged as an Electric Skateboard HQ customer and probably be treated better. Ride safe, guys.